The perils of excessive kindness. We are often told, from a young age, to be kind, to put the needs of others before our own, and to embody generosity in our interactions. It's a message woven into the fabric of our society, seemingly virtuous and undeniably well-intentioned. However, what is often left unsaid is that this very virtue, when taken to an extreme, can become a double-edged sword. In a world that isn't always reciprocal, where individuals may prioritize their own self-interest, excessive kindness can lead to emotional exhaustion, financial strain, and even put our own well-being at risk. This isn't to say that kindness itself is inherently flawed, but rather that the unbridled expression of it, without boundaries or self-awareness, can have unintended and detrimental consequences. Join me as we delve into the potential pitfalls of being too nice and discuss practical strategies, inspired by Stoic philosophy, to protect ourselves while still maintaining a compassionate and empathetic approach to the world around us. Drawing from a wealth of insights and Stoic principles, coupled with personal observations and real-life examples, we'll explore how to navigate the complexities of human interaction and cultivate a balanced approach to generosity. Ultimately, the goal is to empower you to maintain your kindness without sacrificing your own well-being, fostering healthier relationships and a more fulfilling life. 8 Unforeseen consequences of overly nice behavior. Consider this scenario, pulled straight from an original short film. A kindly neighbor, known for always helping others, finds themselves constantly burdened with requests, their own needs perpetually sidelined, and eventually feeling resentful and taken advantage of. This scenario sets the stage for exploring the potential negative consequences of being too nice, revealing the vulnerability that can arise when boundaries are blurred and self-care is neglected. Unrealistic expectations and the disappointment factor. The world tells us to be selfless, but true selflessness is a rare and challenging feat. It's almost impossible to give without expecting some form of return, whether it's gratitude, reciprocation, or simply recognition. In our hearts, we hope that others will act with the same generosity we extend to them. When we consistently prioritize the needs of others, we inadvertently set a high bar for their behavior. We may find ourselves expecting them to reciprocate our efforts when we are in need. The Stoics recognize the importance of accepting things as they are, rather than relying on external factors, such as the actions of others, for our happiness. This concept of emotional detachment allows us to give freely, without attaching strings or harboring expectations of return. However, the reality is that not everyone operates with the same level of generosity or consideration. Some individuals may become accustomed to receiving without giving back, leading to disappointment, resentment, and a sense of being undervalued. What happens when you are the one who needs something? You may have gotten people so used to having everything done for them that they'll take it for granted that you can handle everything in their lives and yours, especially your own. Because if you don't take care of your own, why would you take care of other people's? When these expectations aren't met, it can lead to a cascade of negative emotions, including anger, sadness, and a feeling of being used. The lesson here is not to stifle our kindness, but to temper our expectations and cultivate a sense of inner contentment that isn't contingent on the actions of others. By practicing emotional separation, we can protect ourselves from the disappointment that arises when our hopes for reciprocity are dashed. The expectation of constant giving. Human beings are creatures of habit. We thrive on routine and predictability, and we tend to adapt to patterns that offer comfort and ease. This is the essence of the comfort zone. When we consistently give to others, we inadvertently train them to expect our generosity as a matter of course. Imagine this, a time lapse showing a plant gradually growing, watered consistently by a nurturing hand. That hand represents your consistent giving. The plant, the expectation that develops in others. They become accustomed to relying on us to solve their problems, fulfill their needs, and alleviate their burdens. If you're always giving, the people you help will expect you to give them something all the time, and they won't have to do many of their responsibilities because you'll be there to do them. Over time, This can create a dynamic where our kindness is taken for granted and our own needs are consistently overlooked. The Stoics emphasize the importance of moderation and balance in all aspects of life, including giving. They cautioned against falling into habits that could harm our mental or emotional well-being. By giving in a balanced way, we maintain control over our actions and prevent others from becoming overly reliant on our generosity. This allows them to develop their own problem-solving skills and take responsibility for their own lives. Furthermore, it protects us from becoming enmeshed in their dependence, preserving our own autonomy and preventing emotional burnout. The key is to be mindful of the patterns we create and to ensure that our generosity empowers others rather than enabling them. Sacrificing your own goals and aspirations. Kindness should never come at the expense of our own dreams and aspirations. If you put everyone else's needs before your own, you may end up running away from something inside you that hurts and scares you. How do you feel when you spend the weekend alone or come home every day knowing no one is there to greet you? All the time you're spending on other people is time that you're not spending on your own goals. A visual representation of this could be a split screen. On one side, someone diligently working on their personal project, full of energy. On the other, someone being pulled in multiple directions by others, looking increasingly drained. This imagery emphasizes the importance of self-care and prioritizing one's own aspirations. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of living by reason and virtue, setting limits, and prioritizing our own responsibilities. If we neglect our own needs in favor of others, we risk losing sight of our own identity and compromising our well-being. It's essential to remember that self-care is not selfish. It's a prerequisite for being able to effectively help others. Before you can help others feel better, you need to make sure you're happy, spoiled, and well cared for. Only when we are fulfilled and secure can we offer genuine and sustainable support to those around us. Otherwise, our generosity becomes a form of self-sacrifice, fueled by a desire to escape our own inner anxieties or unmet needs. By prioritizing our own goals and setting healthy boundaries, we create a foundation of strength and resilience that allows us to give from a place of abundance, rather than from a place of depletion. If you're doing so many different things because you want to get away from yourself, the blow will be twice as hard because on the one hand, you'll have to face yourself sooner or later, and on the other, your bad mood will get worse as you start to put other people's needs before your own. Perceived weakness and disrespect. Sadly, in some social dynamics, excessive kindness can be misinterpreted as a sign of weakness. People will think you are weak and treat you that way. A short, original animation could depict this. A character initially seen as helpful and kind is gradually taken advantage of, their boundaries ignored, and their requests dismissed. The animation would subtly convey the shift in perception as the character's kindness becomes a liability. When we consistently prioritize the needs of others without setting clear boundaries, we may inadvertently signal that our own needs are less important. This can lead to others taking us for granted, disrespecting our time, and even attempting to exploit our generosity. As soon as you use this magic word, no, they will start to feel something for you they never thought they would: respect. Stoicism teaches us to cultivate inner strength and self-mastery through self-discipline and the setting of limits. By demonstrating a commitment to our own values and responsibilities, we earn the respect of others. Furthermore, setting limits teaches people how to treat you. We can show others that we are committed to our own responsibilities and ideals, earning their respect instead of being seen as weak. Conversely, when we consistently acquiesce to their demands, we risk being perceived as pushovers, easily manipulated, and lacking in self-worth. It's crucial to recognize that kindness and strength are not mutually exclusive. We can be both compassionate and assertive, generous and self-respecting. The key is to strike a balance that honors our own needs while still allowing us to extend kindness to others. Attracting users and opportunists. Extreme niceness can be a magnet for individuals who are seeking to exploit our generosity for their own gain. Stoicism teaches us how important it is to be smart and wise. By choosing who to help with self-control and perspective, we can tell the difference between real people and those who want to take advantage. A split-screen scenario could visually illustrate this. One side, showcasing genuine friends offering reciprocal support, the other highlighting individuals who only appear when they need something. These energy vampires, as they're sometimes called, are adept at identifying individuals who are willing to give without expecting much in return. They may feign friendship, shower us with compliments, or fabricate sob stories to elicit our sympathy and manipulate us into providing assistance. If you think about it logically, it's not so unlikely that this could happen to you, since most people don't invite their employees or coworkers to have coffee with them, let alone a beer. They aren't looking for genuine connection. They're simply seeking to extract resources, whether it's time, money, or emotional support. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of discernment and prudence in our relationships. By cultivating self-awareness and observing the patterns of behavior in others, we can identify those who are genuinely deserving of our help and those who are simply seeking to take advantage. It's important to remember that it's okay to say no, to protect our resources, and to prioritize our own well-being over the demands of others. By being selective in our generosity, we can ensure that our kindness is directed towards those who truly appreciate it and who are willing to reciprocate in a meaningful way. One-sided relationships and energy depletion. When we consistently give without receiving, we create an imbalance in our relationships that can lead to emotional depletion and resentment. You'll only get people who want something and never those who want to give. A visual metaphor could represent this: a battery constantly being drained with no opportunity to recharge. The battery could represent your emotional energy, slowly being depleted by one-sided relationships. Genuine relationships are characterized by reciprocity, mutual support, and a shared sense of give and take. They involve an exchange of energy that leaves both parties feeling uplifted and energized. However, when we are constantly giving to others, we deplete our own energy reserves, leaving us feeling drained, exhausted, and resentful. We become vulnerable to people who are negative, depressed, have dark souls, and want to hurt us. The Stoics recognize the importance of building relationships that are mutually beneficial and that contribute to our overall well-being. They emphasize the need for patient judgment in assessing the character of others and for cultivating relationships that are grounded in shared values, respect, and reciprocity. By prioritizing relationships that are nourishing and supportive, we can protect ourselves from the draining effects of one-sided interactions and cultivate a sense of balance and fulfillment in our lives. Potential for addiction and unhealthy coping mechanisms. While seemingly paradoxical, excessive kindness can sometimes be a manifestation of underlying issues or unhealthy coping mechanisms. You could end up getting hooked on something. A short montage of subtle signs of addiction could be shown here. Someone repeatedly offering to help others as a way to avoid their own problems, or turning to excessive giving as a way to feel valued. The montage would emphasize the link between excessive kindness and potential underlying issues. The need for something grows, which is the best way to get addicted. Some individuals may use generosity as a way to gain validation, approval, or a sense of purpose. Others may engage in excessive giving as a means of escaping their own problems, avoiding difficult emotions, or filling a void in their lives. In these cases, kindness becomes a form of addiction, a compulsive behavior that is driven by underlying needs and insecurities. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of self-awareness, self-discipline, and the cultivation of inner contentment. By understanding our motivations and addressing our underlying needs, we can break free from unhealthy patterns of behavior and cultivate a more balanced and fulfilling approach to generosity. The Stoics taught people to be calm and in charge of themselves, and self-discipline in giving keeps us from getting stuck in bad habits and lets us keep a good relationship with our actions and choices. It's crucial to recognize when our kindness is becoming a compulsion and to seek support if necessary. Suspicion and misinterpretation. In a world where genuine altruism is sometimes rare, excessive kindness can be met with suspicion and skepticism. You make people think twice. An original scene could depict a character offering help to someone who responds with suspicion and guardedness, questioning their motives. This scene highlights the unfortunate reality that genuine kindness is sometimes met with distrust. People may wonder what hidden agenda lies beneath our generosity, what ulterior motives are driving our actions. This can mean you've met a group of suspicious people, but it's more likely that they're just being honest. They may question our sincerity, assuming that we are seeking something in return or that we're trying to manipulate them in some way. Stoicism teaches us to focus on living in accordance with our values and principles, regardless of the opinions of others. By acting with integrity, honesty, and genuine compassion, we can build a reputation for trustworthiness and authenticity, no matter how much we'd like things to be different. The truth is that there aren't that many kind people in the world. So if you are one, people will be suspicious of you instead of being impressed and thankful. While we cannot control the perceptions of others, we can control our own actions and ensure that they are aligned with our values. Ultimately, our actions will speak louder than words, and genuine kindness will eventually shine through, dispelling suspicion and fostering trust. Now, let's transition to proactive strategies, grounded in Stoic philosophy, that empower us to maintain our kindness without sacrificing our well-being. These strategies aim to help us navigate the complexities of human interaction and cultivate a more balanced approach to generosity. To visualize this section, imagine a character learning to set boundaries and assert themselves in a respectful manner, gradually gaining confidence and control over their interactions. Cultivate self-awareness. Pay attention to your feelings. Based on the Stoic idea of self-awareness, pay attention to how you feel. The Stoics thought it was important to think about yourself to understand your feelings and wants. The cornerstone of self-protection lies in cultivating a deep understanding of our own emotional state. We must become attuned to our feelings, recognizing when we're feeling overwhelmed, drained, or resentful. By paying attention to how you feel, you can tell if you're giving too much and wearing yourself out mentally. This lets you change your focus and find a good balance. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of introspection, self-reflection, and the careful examination of our thoughts and emotions. It teaches us to observe our feelings without judgment, to understand their origins, and to identify the triggers that lead to emotional distress. How does it make you feel to help other people? By developing this level of self-awareness, we can recognize when we're giving too much, when our boundaries are being violated, and when our own needs are being neglected. This awareness empowers us to take proactive steps to protect ourselves, to set healthy boundaries, and to prioritize our own well-being. Thinking about yourself and putting yourself first is such a kind thing to do that you should feel like you're walking on clouds when you do it. If something you don't have to do makes you feel so bad, you shouldn't lie to yourself about it. Instead, find out how the help you're giving affects your health. This isn't selfish, it's self-preservation. Embrace the power of no. Set healthy boundaries. Don't be afraid of the word no. Following the lessons of the Stoics, you should realize that your time and energy are important and need to be used in a balanced way. One of the most empowering words in our vocabulary is no. It's a simple word, yet it holds immense power in protecting our boundaries and preserving our well-being. Self-control can be shown by being able to say no when you feel too busy or when the request is unfair. Learning to say no is essential for preventing others from taking advantage of our generosity and for ensuring that our own needs are met. Stoicism teaches us to value our time and energy as precious resources that should be used wisely and intentionally. It encourages us to prioritize our own responsibilities and to decline requests that would compromise our well-being or detract from our goals. Practice in front of the mirror and tell yourself that it's the only way to regain your freedom and avoid unnecessary and possible risks. Saying no isn't selfish. It's an act of self-respect and a recognition of our own inherent worth. It's a declaration that our time, energy, and well-being are valuable and worthy of protection. Prioritize self-care. Create time and space for yourself. You have a time and a place for yourself. Respect them. Following the Stoic values of self-discipline and self-respect, it's important to give yourself time and room to take care of yourself. Self-care is not a luxury. It's a necessity for maintaining our physical, emotional, and mental well-being. In the midst of our busy lives, it's essential to carve out time and space for activities that nourish our souls and replenish our energy. It's a scheduled activity, and if someone asks for your help at that time, they need to be very kind and helpful to you, not to the person. So, without remorse, you tell them no and enjoy that time and space just for yourself. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of self-discipline and self-respect in cultivating a fulfilling life. By prioritizing self-care, we demonstrate a commitment to our own well-being and send a clear message to others that our needs are important. Whether it's exercise, meditation, spending time in nature, pursuing hobbies, or simply relaxing and unwinding, self-care activities provide us with the opportunity to recharge, reflect, and reconnect with ourselves. They allow us to return to our responsibilities with renewed energy, focus, and compassion. Identify and distance yourself from energy vampires. Identify energy vampires and distance yourself from them. Following the Stoic principles of self-discipline and wisdom, it's important to know which relationships are good for you and which can drain you mentally. As we discussed earlier, some individuals have a knack for draining our energy and leaving us feeling depleted. They overwhelm you with their complaints, their pains, and their catastrophic view of life. They may be chronic complainers, drama magnets, or individuals who constantly seek attention and validation. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of wisdom and discernment in our relationships. It encourages us to carefully evaluate the impact that others have on our well-being and to distance ourselves from those who consistently drain our energy and contribute to our stress. You should know that if you try to help an energy thief, it won't work. Because if their problems were solved, they would have to stop complaining. That's something they wouldn't tolerate. This isn't about being unkind or judgmental. It's about protecting our own mental and emotional health. By surrounding ourselves with positive, supportive, and uplifting individuals, we create an environment that fosters growth, resilience, and well-being. In conclusion, according to Stoic wisdom, in life, the best measure for things is always the middle ground, and generosity is no exception. If we give too little, we come across as selfish and greedy, while if we give excessively, we end up completely drained of energy, time, and probably money as well. The journey to mastering kindness lies in finding the delicate balance between generosity and self-preservation. It requires cultivating self-awareness, setting healthy boundaries, prioritizing self-care, and discerning the true nature of our relationships. By embracing the wisdom of the Stoics and learning to say no when necessary, we can protect ourselves from the pitfalls of excessive kindness and create a life that is both compassionate and fulfilling. So lean toward the grays, which are still the best choices for finding a balance between putting other people's needs first and putting your own needs first. And if you're ever unsure, just remember the magic word no. If you found this video helpful and insightful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who may benefit from this knowledge. And don't forget to subscribe for more Stoic-inspired guidance on living a balanced and fulfilling life. Remember, true kindness begins with kindness towards ourselves. To recap, we explored the potential downsides of being overly nice, including unrealistic expectations, enabling dependency, neglecting personal goals, attracting manipulative individuals, energy depletion, potential for addiction, and the risk of being met with suspicion. We then delved into 4 Stoic-inspired strategies for protecting ourselves, cultivating self-awareness, embracing the power of no, prioritizing self-care, and distancing ourselves from energy vampires. The key takeaway is that kindness is a virtue, but must be balanced with self-respect and a commitment to our own well-being. What are your experiences with being too nice? Share your thoughts and insights in the comments below.